Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode in a brand new season of this Sacred Journey podcast. I am your host, Zavalza, and it's always a pleasure to be here with you. So, first of all, thank you so much for being here and for listening. It's such an honor for me to always come here and share. And thank you for all of you who've been listening to my podcast so far and send me the beautiful messages of gratitude and inspiration, and really want you to know that it means the world to me. I read every one of your messages and I try to respond as much as I can, and every time that I receive one of these messages, it really gives me the impulse to keep going with this project, which is a passion project for me. And I just want to give you thanks, start this whole season with infinite gratitude for all of you listeners out there, and your beautiful feedback and the questions that you come and give, and it means so much. So thank you again. And I wanted to drop in because we're starting a new year, so I decided, let's begin a new season of this podcast. It's been a couple of months that I haven't been here. I took a little break that was very much needed for myself, and in this last few months that just passed, that were filled with holidays and so many things and life situations, there was a lot happening in my life personally that I also had to take a pause and really integrate. And now I feel more ready to come and share some of the lessons that I learned and some of the experiences that I had that left me with a lot of gifts and new understandings about life and so on, that I will deepen into in the next few episodes. But also the first season of this podcast was pretty much like a solo podcast episode, which was just me coming in and speaking and sharing my heart and introducing myself to you and letting you know who I am, and in all levels, whether it's my story or my inner processes. In this season, my intention is to have more guests. So this season is going to be a lot more interactive. I'm going to have a lot more people, more interviews. It's going to be really exciting. I already recorded a few episodes, and I'm really excited to share them with you. Some incredible people are coming in the podcast. So people that have impacted my life throughout the years, or that are really close friends to me, and that have so much wisdom to share. So I can't wait for you to also receive their medicine. So this season is going to be really amazing and expansive. So, all right, let's begin. I wanted to talk, it's a new year. So everybody is putting on their Instagram everything they want to do about New Year, etc. And it's been a week since New Year's Eve happened, and I've just been sitting a lot with everything that this represents, and setting the intentions for my new year and doing all the inner work and all the rituals and all of the things that I'm used to do every single year. But today it felt a little bit different, and I think collectively people I've been hearing this being mentioned a lot. This holiday season just felt different. It didn't feel as holiday-y as normally it does. At least that was for me and for a lot of people that I know. But I was feeling into this because yes, this is the beginning of the Gregorian calendar, which is 2025 according to this year. But in reality, originally the true New Year's is supposed to begin in spring, which makes all the sense of the world. And so many other different traditions around the world celebrate New Year with the spring equinox, which is happening in March. And it makes so much more sense because when we look at nature, when we see seasons right now, the month of December, we're in the depths of winter. We're in the depths of the death of nature. Internally, we're feeling introverted, right? We want to hibernate. We want to be with ourselves, to be in our homes, to reflect upon life and about everything that we've done all of this last year. which, it's an amazing time to take that inventory. And simultaneously, as soon as January begins, we're still in the middle of winter, but yet we have the pressure of society and the belief of this Gregorian calendar that we need to go and have all of this momentum to create all of our goals and purpose, etc. And I was feeling into that and feeling just the energy right now collectively is not supportive towards it. For many reasons. One, yes, because we're in the middle of winter, so our bodies are connected to nature and we can feel the darkness, we can feel the cold. It's not natural for us to be in go, go, go mode. So it's normal if you started this year and it's been a week and you still haven't done any of the things on your list of your goals, of things that you wanted to do, or maybe they're not moving as fast as you wish they were. It's okay. It's okay. Take a break. Take a pause. Take a deep breath. And let it go, because it is normal. It's natural if you're not doing it. It's natural for you to feel the need to rest, for you to feel the need to take a pause. It's normal. There's no shame in it. And if you are in another frequency and you're ready to go, great for you. But if you're not, don't shame yourself for it. And this is also a lesson that I gathered that I'm sharing with you for myself, of learning to honor my own inner seasons. Because just as we go through seasons on the outside in nature, as human beings, we also are aligned to the natural seasons of the planet. And we're also aligned to our own inner cycles of life. And it's good to honor ourselves. It's just like the fruits of the tree the tree is not flowering and bringing fruits every single day of the month. You're also not supposed to be flowering and creating and go, go, go mode every single day of the year. We are human beings. We are natural beings. We're part of this earth. So nature on the outside reflects the nature and the cyclical nature that exists within us and that we live internally. So the society that we live in is forcing us to have the mentality that it's wrong to take breaks. It's wrong to not follow, this mentality of crazy productivity and always constantly being on the go, go, go. And everything in our lives in society is designed for us to be in that space, even when we're not naturally feeling that. So this is actually a really great time, instead of rushing into creating all of these goals that we want to create for the future. This is a great time to really sit with yourself and take a full inventory of the last year, and to see everything that you've traveled through, the journey that took you through this last year, whether you want to call it in the Gregorian calendar or you want to start in March, it doesn't matter, but to really see, where were you last year at this time, and what have you learned throughout this last few months? It's very important that before we open up this new cycle, that we find closure with the cycle that we're ending. So all the things that may still feel unresolved from this last few cycle, this is a good time to really sit with yourself and make a list of what are the things that you wish you had done differently? What are the things, the lessons that came to you? What are the maybe situations in your life or relationships in your life that didn't go so well and that you wish you can clear right now? You can find forgiveness and some level of closure. That's super important, to be able to release what no longer serves. But also, and sometimes we really forget this actually. I see this happen all the time. We forget to take a moment to also give thanks for all the incredible things that happened to you last year. So make an inventory, or maybe even make a list. For me, I love journaling. That really helps me bring things into clarity. Make a list of the things that you want to let go of, but also make a list of all the blessings that you received. Because sometimes we even forget how blessed we are. And so many beautiful things happen to us every year. And how many times those go unacknowledged. And more, even more importantly, yes, like the blessings that the universe brings to you are incredible and all the gifts. But the most important is like, what are the things that you're proud of? What are the things that you did for yourself, the goals that you actually achieved, or the little steps forward towards the goal or towards the situation? How did you react differently this time in a challenging situation that made you feel proud of yourself? This is so important, so incredibly crucial. And this is a practice that I'm really starting to implement more and more in my everyday life because I noticed, at least for myself, that I would have all of this list of all the things I want to do, and I would go and do them, and I'll be like, oh, great, I did it. Okay, what's next? And I would like rush into what's next instead of taking the pause and the moment to really reflect on the achievement that I just did and to really allow myself to feel proud for myself. Like, yes, to really celebrate and acknowledge the success or the in whichever level of my life that I had just created for myself. And this is something, again, that society does not teach us to do. It's actually, they teach us the opposite. It's almost like you have to be, quote unquote, humble. And in that false humbleness, it's not looked well. It's looked down upon to be proud of yourself. It's almost like you're being arrogant. But really, we should make it more of a practice of like, we've been trained to be so hard on ourselves. It's almost like whatever we do is never enough because there's always more to do. So we're constantly feeling like we're not good enough and doing, and it's still never good enough. But what if we change that perspective and that paradigm and we stop to see that everything we're doing right now is already good enough, that we are just inherently good enough, just as we are in this moment with this breath. Right now. And look at your path. And if you want to even go further past this year and beyond, like the last 5 years, the last 10 years, your entire life, and think about where you were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, a year ago, a few months ago, and where you are now. You will be able to see and take the inventory of all the incredible shifts that you've done in your life, all the good things that you've also done for yourself. This is not a time to just look at all the things that we regret or that we wish we had done differently, the things that are challenging, but it is so important to be grateful for the things that have gone really well. And more importantly, again, I cannot exalt this enough, to be proud of yourself for everything you've done and for how far you have come right now. And during New Year, I feel like often what happens too is that we rush so much into looking into the future, into like you manifest and envision your future and celebrate your future, and that's beautiful, and it takes part, like it's an important part of it. The visualization, celebrate as if it's already happening. Yeah, that's beautiful. But again, what about what is actually happening right now? Can we stop and be grateful for what we have in this moment? Can we create this new reality from an already state of gratitude from where we stand right now? And sometimes we forget to be grateful for things that are beautiful, things that are happening in our life. But sometimes it's also important to remember to be thankful for the small things. The small things that go unacknowledged, like the fact that you have a phone or something that you're listening to this podcast in. It's already making you more abundant than a lot of people in the whole planet, like a big percentage of the people who cannot even afford to have a phone. The fact that you woke up and you're alive, that you can breathe, that you're feeling healthy, that your family is well, that you have food in the table, that you have a roof to sleep under, to live under. These little things, we sometimes forget how blessed we are to have. Especially when things are going hard in our life, like when we're experiencing difficulties, it's so hard to look at the bright side. It's so hard to find the things that we're grateful for. But you can start with these things. You can start with being thankful for your breath. Being thankful just for being alive. Just for being here. And then if you begin to find more and more like crumbs of things to be grateful for, you will find that you're actually incredibly blessed. That you have infinite things to actually be grateful for. You can be grateful for the sunset. You can be grateful for the rain if it's raining. You can be grateful for the tree outside of your house. You can start with small things. But gratitude is so important because everything builds upon that. The moment that you begin to feel the gratitude for what you already have, that becomes a basis for what you can now build upon your dream and what you're calling in that maybe you don't have yet, but you're already starting from a full cup. You're already starting from, I'm already really blessed because I already have all of these things to be grateful for. And this is sending the signal to the universe of like, okay, now we can send more things for this person to be grateful for. But if you're over here just sitting and complaining about everything that went wrong and about everything that you don't have, if you're vibrating in that frequency, well, the universe is going to send you more of that because that's the frequency that you're putting out into the universe. And it's not like the universe wants to punish you or nothing. It's just that's the law of how energy works. How we vibrate, what we embody, our thought forms are like a boomerang. What we send out is what comes back. So if your reality right now is not reflecting the life that you want and you're ready to create a new reality, ready to manifest a new reality, you have to begin by shifting your inner frequency. You have to begin by shifting the way that you're thinking about yourself and about your life, and to create a frequency of gratitude so you can create a life and you can manifest and attract to yourself a life that is so fulfilling, that makes you feel genuinely grateful every single day when you wake up. Yeah, and recently I heard this quote, going back a little bit about the being proud of yourself. I heard this quote that really resonated with me, and it said, you cannot build upon success that has not been acknowledged. I'm going to repeat that. You cannot build upon success that has not been acknowledged. And this is, once again, so important because we tend to do this. We tend to achieve something, be like, woohoo, we did it. Okay, next. Once again, how can we really integrate that? How can we really celebrate ourselves for how far we've come? How can we really acknowledge our successes? So that from that space of gratitude that we're placing on our successes, more of that can grow. More of what you've already built that you're happy for, that you feel successful for, that you feel grateful for, can build upon it. It's almost like you're feeding a plant. You're continuing to water a plant that has sprouted from the seed that you planted. And it's a continuing celebration of that life, of that form that's been taking. So, yes, this is kind of how I wanted to begin, of like bringing this perspective of deep gratitude and deep acknowledgement of how far you've come. And maybe take a moment right now, if you need to pause this and take a moment to really close your eyes and sit and reflect and go upon the memory from last year and go all around like every single month and to see everything that you're ready to one, let go, and everything that you're ready to be grateful for, everything that maybe you forgot, the little and big things that happened throughout this year that bring a smile to your face, to bring you a sense of joy and celebration for the people in your life, your friends, your family, the opportunities to share love, the opportunities to be an expression of love, the opportunities to experience and witness beauty, the fact that you have eyes and that you can see the sunset. That's in itself a huge thing to be grateful for. Just take a moment and feel and soak in that feeling. Because it is from here, from this feeling, that then you'll be ready to co-create with the universe the new vision for your life. So yeah, a couple of days ago, I co-hosted a manifestation workshop for 2025. And it was a very powerful group of people that came together. We had a very powerful time and a lot of energy moved. And one of the things that became very clear for me is like, I 100% believe in manifestation. I have a lot of vision boards that I've done throughout the years and throughout different times in my life that have come, most of them, if not all of them, to fruition through the years. Every time I look at them, I'm like, wow, that happened and that happened. And there's some magic that happens there with the vision boards that sometimes it's like beyond our comprehension. But I've seen things that maybe I put in the vision board because they look pretty, and it was like a little decoration. And then later I find myself like I actually lived that experience or that reality or that picture that I put there. I was actually in that exact place. But anyways, that's a different story. But speaking of, like, we had a whole part of this manifestation workshop where we first let go of everything and then we call in our future reality. And over here, I really want to speak about this energy and frequency of manifestation. And I was already speaking about the importance of starting with gratitude as your base, as your foundation for anything that you're calling in, anything that you want to build upon. There's a few pillars that are very important. Gratitude is one of them. Another one that is incredibly important is knowing your inherent worth and feeling your inherent worth on receiving all of the abundance and the beauty and the joy that the universe wants to give you. And that is constantly there. It's actually floating around, like just waiting for you to be ready to receive it. And how do you get ready to receive it? By opening your heart, by allowing yourself to feel worthy of all of the blessings that are wanting to come your way. And this is something that may not make a lot of sense, again, because of the way that we've been programmed of you're not good enough, you're not worthy. There's a constant programming that we get bombarded with all the time from every single part of society, whether it's our family, religion, education, finances, social media, blah, blah, blah. It's constant message of you're not good enough. So if you're not good enough, then you're not worthy of receiving this, and this. But this is an invitation to really take a moment and see all the parts of you that not feel worthy and that not feel good enough, and to really question, where is this feeling of unworthiness and this belief of not being good enough really coming from? Is it really coming from me, or is it coming from the outside? And is it serving me? And is it true? And I feel like this specific thing is something maybe we will be working through for our entire lives. For me, it's an ever ongoing process of recognizing my worth. And the more that I do, the more that I can see and observe life opening to me and reflecting back to me the inherent worth that I am. that I carry just because we exist, just because we're here in these human bodies. That makes you already 100% incredibly worthy. And it just blows my mind to think about the miracle that it is to be alive and to be human, right? To be here in this reality. It's like, what? Because God, universe, creator, or whatever it is that you believe in, Big Bang Theory, whatever, when the universe was created, thought that you specifically, with your specific frequency, with your specific composition, were important enough to be created. So if the universe, the creator, the greater consciousness thought that you needed to be here, then what makes you wonder, or what makes you think that you're not worthy of being here? If you have a body, it's because you're worthy. Nobody, no one ever in the history of humanity, whether in the past or in the future or currently right now with the billions of people in this planet, have the exact frequency and the exact composition of who you are. You are a unique masterpiece that has never been done before and will never be repeated. You're a complete, beautiful, perfect masterpiece just as you are, because the universe, or God, creator, creatrix, goddess, decided to create you. You are a creation of the infinite intelligence that builds universes and galaxies and all the beings that exist in this planet and others, decided that you needed to be created. Isn't that fucking mind-blowing? Like, what? When we stop and think this in this way, like, the fact that we're sitting here feeling unworthy, feeling like we're not good enough, is ridiculous. It's almost like an insult to creation itself, or to God, whatever you believe, again, that made you. It's an insult. It's like telling the artist, the creator artist, like, oh, you're not a good enough artist because you did everything perfect. Galaxies are amazing, everything, but you failed, like, because this creation that you did through me is not good enough. Whew. So when we look at this from this perspective, and someone once told me, like, in Spanish, Dios no hace cochinadas, which translates into something like, God does not create, like, actually there's no translation for that word, but something like, God doesn't create like shitty things. Meaning that God knows what it's doing. God creates only perfection in all of its ways. And if you doubt this, then go outside and look at nature and everything around, and really pay attention to the perfection of the little ants and the animals and the birds and the trees and the flowers and the water running and the air that we're breathing and the trees and every little intricate detail. Just take a moment and look at nature as our biggest teacher. And I dare you to find imperfection in it. Because even in the tree that is dying, even in the tree that is losing its leaves and its flowers, there is perfection and intelligence and wisdom within that. And you cannot deny it. So if you cannot find anything that is not perfect on the outside, how is it possible that you're finding so many things inside of you that are not, quote unquote, perfect, that are not, quote unquote, worthy? And really question it and really look at yourself and be like, I am that. Look at the tree and then look at yourself and look at nature around you. And make this a practice of looking at the sunset, of looking at the tree and say, I am that. All the beauty that you see around you, that you see in nature, is also within you because you are part of this. The same thing that created the sunsets and the galaxies and the trees and the bees and the butterflies and everything also made you. You are an extension of God. You are an extension of creation. So for you to think that you're not worthy is not just wrong, but it's an insult to creation. It's a complete fallacy. It's not true. The whole spiritual awakening, spiritual path of enlightenment, etc. It's all about this coming to this realization. It's actually way more simple than we sometimes make it seem. We think about spirituality or someone that's enlightened, like this person meditating and floating in the air. And if we're not that, then we're not experiencing that. But actually, now I'm coming to feel and realize more and more spirituality and what we think enlightenment is a lot more simple and way less glamorous than we have made to believe or that we want to think it is. And it is as simple as having a moment of realization, having this moment of realization, which is the most important because everything unravels from here, of looking at yourself, looking at the one that you're embodying and being like, oh, this is perfect. Looking at yourself in the mirror and being able to see through into your eyes beyond all the imperfections that you've been told by society that you have, the crooked nose or the crooked teeth or whatever, the wrinkles or the white hair that's growing and the saggy body, whatever it is. To be able to look at that and stare at that and be like, wow, thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you, universe, for creating this beautiful masterpiece. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to embody it. Thank you for giving me this gift to be alive and to be in this precious, perfect body just as it is. Wow, what a gift. Whew. Imagine if that was what we were taught to think and say every time we looked at the mirror since we were little. Imagine if when we were children, our parents and society taught us to do that, to see ourselves in that way, to see ourselves in the eyes of God, like how God sees us, how creation looks at us. Because the way that you look at that beautiful butterfly and that beautiful sunset with awe and wow and mesmerized, that's how God is looking at you all the time. Looking at you being like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. Look at this perfect being that I created. So imagine if we were able to look at ourselves through the eyes of God in that way. Imagine how different the world would be. Whew. We will be in a completely different reality. I believe that if more and more humans were able to access that level of self-acceptance, that level of self-love, the love that comes from creation itself, because that's the love that you are. You were created from that. That is your true nature. You started in the mind of God as an idea of and a spark of love like this is worthy of being created. So here it is. So if you could access that spark of love that lives inside of you, the fire in your heart that is connected to your inner spirit, to your soul, that is always vibrating and singing and dancing in the song of creation that only you are made to sing, because no one ever in the history of humanity has or will be just like you. So you have this beautiful gift to steward this body, this human incarnation that you are in right now. And that is the greatest miracle of all. That is the greatest gift of all, so we can stop and just look at ourselves and be grateful in the depths of our humanity, in the depths of our quote unquote imperfection. We can just look at ourselves and just accept everything that we are right now as it is. If we can forgive ourselves for all the times that we have acted out of alignment with our true nature, which is love. Because no matter what you've done in the past, how much you have mistakes you've made or how much you've hurt other people or yourself, it doesn't matter. You could be a murderer and God would still look at you with love. And if you don't believe me, read the Bible, read any sacred text. The spark in you of who you truly are, the true essence of your being that lives in your heart, can never be tainted. It can never be destroyed. That is the true essence of who you are. So it doesn't matter what happens to you, if you were a victim of horrible things, or if you were the victimizer, that part is still there, waiting to be recognized, waiting to be looked at and be like, wow, that's who I really am. Waiting to be revealed, to be remembered. Because every time that we act out of this place, every time that we come out of our center and act out of love, the frequency of the lack of love, then that's when we separate ourselves from our true nature, and then we become confused and we begin to think that that's who we are, that we are the person that stole something or killed someone or lied to someone or hurt someone. We begin to have this belief that we are that, but we actually are not that. Those are actions that we take when we forget who we truly are. God, universe is so infinitely merciful and beautiful, because there's actually nothing to forgive. We don't have to ask forgiveness to the universe. Yes, ask forgiveness to the people you've hurt and for yourself. But the universe has nothing to forgive. It's just constantly loving you no matter what. Constantly looking at you as like their beloved child. Of looking at you with love. No matter what you do, it will always be like, yes, this is my child. They're growing, they're learning. They're making mistakes. But I still love them. Because they're perfect just as they are. And I am not a mother in this lifetime, but if you are, or a father, you may understand this concept in a greater way. But I can tap into it, and I can feel into it, and I can see the purity in all the people around me, in all of creation. No matter what they do, no matter what they're not doing, they're still beautiful and perfect inside, in the depths of their being. And the journey of spirituality, etc., it's just an unraveling into that knowing and a deepening into that knowing and in the embodiment of that knowing, so that it just doesn't stay in a concept in our head, but it becomes our living reality, that our every breath is an expression of that love that we have recognized within ourselves of who we are, and that through that emanation of the purity of the love that we are, we extend that and we inspire others to remember their own beauty, to remember the love that's inside of them, the inherent worthiness that we carry. And from this place of deep knowing that this is who I am, a beautiful and perfect creation of God, of the divine. And I am human as well. And I am learning just like a child is growing and learning. So I will make mistakes, and that is okay. Can you be that level of forgiving towards yourself and compassionate towards yourself, and you can look at yourself like a divine child, trying to understand its way into being human, which is fucking hard. It's about time for all of us to be a lot more compassionate with ourselves and a lot more loving. So let's make that our main intention for this year. If you can scratch all your goals and create one intention, let it be this. May you be able to recognize the love that you are and the inherent worth of your existence in the depths of your being. That every cell of your body can feel and vibrate in this knowing. and celebrate life in this knowing, because this is your true nature. This is your true divine nature. And nothing can ever take that away from you. You may forget at some points. You may disconnect from this knowing, but it will always be there, waiting for you to come back to recognize who you really are. And I was sitting with this because, I like every year I make my vision boards. I teach people to make vision boards and I encourage it, and I love them. They're beautiful. But when I look at that, honestly, it doesn't matter. Like the things that we want to manifest and create, and the projects, or the new car and the new house and the new love, honestly, none of that matters at the end of the day, because what really matters is this. What really matters is to come back to the heart and to recognize this. In the moment that you recognize this inner love, inherent love, in the depths of your being, then everything else in your life begins to reflect that back to you. The moment that we do this, is almost like you begin to align to your inherent potential for this life, to your inner purpose, to your mission for this life. Your will, your desires begin to align with the desires of your higher self, the desires that the universe has for you, the universe that created you for this specific purpose, for this specific way of being. We begin to remember that, because we've been so confused and disconnected from that we began to look and search for other things outside of who we truly are. All the things that society is telling us that we should want, that we should have this car, this house, this partner, by this age, by this thing, this amount of money in the bank, blah, 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 blah. All of that, none of that fucking matters. Because when you die, none of that is coming with you. And let me repeat that. When you die, because you could literally die tomorrow, none of that is coming with you. The only thing that will stay with you and that will continue to live even after you die is the love that you're sharing with others and the love that you're cultivating in your heart. That's the only thing they will bring with you wherever else we go. Whatever it is, again, that you believe in. Heaven, I don't know, going to another planet, whatever it is. Even if you believe in nothing, like, you die and nothing else happens after that, like, even then, what will remain is the love that you shared with others, how other people remember you. And how they will remember you is how much love they felt when being in your presence, how you made them feel. So let's make that our priority. Let's put that on the top of our goals in the vision board. And from there, let's open ourselves to allow divine inspiration to show us what it is that we are meant to create here, to co-create with the universe. So we're no longer alone here trying to force things into manifestation, trying to call in things that are not even for us. Because you do have free will. So you can create whatever you want. Like, the universe will allow you that. This is a planet of free will. So even if you were created to be an artist, and that's your divine purpose, like God was like, this is going to be the most beautiful artist, sculptor, painter, whatever. You still have the choice to go and become a doctor, to go and become a lawyer, because that is the gift of your free will. But the moment that we begin to recognize the divine spark in our heart, the love that is radiating, and the flame that is within us, and the love that we are, and the beauty and the worthiness of who we are, then all of a sudden, we can finally remember the truth of our essence, the truth of our authentic calling. And all of a sudden, we begin to realize, actually, I never wanted to be a lawyer. That's what my mother and my father wanted for me. I've always wanted to be a painter. And then the moment that you say that out loud, or you say that or recognize it to yourself, like, your heart expands. And this is how you know. This is how you know that it's true. Because the heart will let you know. You will feel it in the depths of your heart. You will feel that fire, that expansion, that passion, that love. Yes, want to do that. I want to paint. And usually the heart will have the wildest dreams that make no sense because they're not meant to. They're not meant to be logical. The mind is the one that's logical. The heart just knows. It knows what it's meant to do, what it's meant to create. Like your purpose, your soul purpose was planted within your heart. And your heart is the only one that will let you remember. So the heart is not meant to make any fucking sense. It's just meant to know and to feel in a deeper level. So the moment that you allow yourself to listen to that, to listen to the heart and to acknowledge the wisdom inherent within you, the inner knowing, and you begin to allow that dream, that calling, that purpose to unravel and to open up, then that, it's almost like a flower. I'm visualizing this flower that opens up and it's like a vortex calling in and attracting everything in your life that is helping you create that reality that is in alignment with your highest purpose, with the reason why you were created for. So even if it didn't make any sense for you to go and hike the Himalayas or freaking become an artist and you have like no idea how to do that, all of a sudden, the moment that you say yes to that and you open your heart and you open yourself, everything around you will begin to shift and change itself so that this new reality can be molded for who you truly came here to be. And there's a beautiful book that maybe many of you have read, and if you haven't, I really, really recommend you do it. It's called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. It's one of my favorite books. It's actually the first book I ever read when, out of pleasure, not just because I was being forced. That's cool. And he speaks a lot about the universe is conspiring in your favor. And I have witnessed this over and over again in my path and in other people's path that decide to follow the crazy calling of the heart that makes no fucking sense. And all of a sudden, the entire universe creates the craziest miracles and realities to allow that crazy desire of your heart to be manifested. This is when you become a miracle creator. And it is not you, is that finally when you put yourself in the position of you aligning to your divine purpose, the universe is listening. The universe wants that for you. God created you for that. So God wants that. It's been fucking waiting for you to finally make that decision. Sitting there letting you have your own free will and, fuck your life over and over again with a lot of love and compassion. But the moment that you're like, I'm ready to connect to my heart and to my divine purpose, that's when the whole spirit guides, angels, God, creation, nature is like, fuck yes. And it's in full celebration because you're finally fucking remembering what you came here to do. So that's when all of these greater forces of the universe and the nature come to support you in that because they want that for you. So this is how miracles happen. This is how you see people out there living their best reality that seems almost like a dream, like a fairy tale. And you're like, how did that happen? How did they make that possible? This is how. Because they listened to that inner call in their heart and they had the courage to follow it. And the universe listened back. And it came and met them in that desire, to allow it to be manifested into its fullness. So this whole manifestation thing, this whole creation thing is more like a co-creation. Divine manifestation should come from a co-creation, knowing that you're not doing this alone, you're doing this with the universe. You're being constantly informed by the universe of what is the next dream to create. More than coming into your head and thinking this is what I want. Take a moment and pause. Like, are these desires that I think I have, are the things that I'm putting in my vision board coming from my heart, coming from my soul, coming from inspiration, divine inspiration? Or are they coming from my head, from my ego, from me being influenced by social media, by the people that I look around, by what my parents' society told me that I needed to create in order to be a successful whatever person? Or is it coming truly from my inner being? So sometimes it's important to kind of destroy and let go of all the things that we think we want and give the power to the universe, to God, to align our will to the will of the all. And the will of the all will always be in benefit of not just you, but all of creation. So that thing that you want to create, if it's in alignment with the universe, it will positively impact all the people around you. And maybe people you've never even met, and the earth and the universe. So of course the universe wants to co-create with you. Of course it will be supported in that. And the moment that you're not in alignment with the universe, where you want something for yourself and it's a selfish desire, I don't know, this idea is coming to me. Like sometimes we may be in love with someone that is in a relationship with someone else or is married or whatever. And sometimes that's not in alignment for you or the highest well of everybody else involved. So take a pause, and instead of being like, obsessed with trying to manifest a specific outcome that will benefit, or you think it's going to benefit you, come and sit back and think, like, is this really in alignment with my highest self and the highest self of everybody involved? Is this project, vision, idea going to positively impact everybody around me? And if you don't know, then surrender it to the universe, surrender it to this highest force, and allow the universe to co-create with you, to show you the path. Allow it to open the doors that need to be open and to close the doors that are not meant for you. This is a moment too to also really realize and sit with the aspects of full surrender. Because yes, once we sit down and we receive the visions of like, this is what my heart desires, this is what my life wants for me, then the next step is like putting it in the altar of life, being like, here it is, my desire, and yet I let it go and I put it here in the hands of life, because life knows better. And I would allow life to do and create and bring forth that which is meant, divinely guided for me, and that which is not to be released. And maybe I have this dream and I think it should be and look in a certain way, but the universe has an even better way of bringing it into my life. Or maybe I think I want this one thing, but actually the universe has this other path for me that is actually better and most alignment for me and the universe itself, that will better impact everybody else around me. So it's also letting go of the egoic idea that we know better what's for us, because we actually don't. We can play in our mind and visualize and have inspiration and desires. That's beautiful. Yes, like a child, but also don't hold so tight onto this ideas and creations that you think you want. And allow life to reveal to you which creations are actually in alignment for the highest good of all. And allow the universe to also remove from your life or your heart or your mind or your ideas anything that is actually not in alignment for you, that you may not be aware of. Because look back in your life and think about that one thing, that one person that you really wanted to be with, but they rejected you, or that job opportunity that was not available, that didn't hire you or whatever. And in the moment you were like heartbroken, and it was so hard for you, and like, oh my God, I lost this person, I'm never gonna find someone again, or I'm a failure because I didn't get this job position. And then years later, an even better job came up for you with better pay or more in alignment with you, or an even more incredible partner for you. I see this over and over again in my life and other people's lives. So who are we to doubt the universe, to doubt the creator? Let's be in this state of openness, gratitude, and surrender, and allowance for the universe to co-create with us, and just full trust, again, that the universe knows better, and that which is meant for us will come to us and will find its way to us no matter what. And that which is not meant for us cannot remain, no matter how hard we try to keep it. And actually, for those things that are not meant for us, it's best for us for them to not be in our field. We benefit more from not having those things that are not in our highest alignment. So before you create your vision board or your intentions or your manifestation, make sure that you do this, that you drop in with spirit and call in this inspiration, these visions, these desires from this place. And once you plan them out, like, let them go. Let them go with surrender of like, okay, this is kind of what I want to call in, but universe knows best. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, well, it wasn't meant to. And I'm going to be okay no matter what. And secondly, I also find that sometimes we when we manifest, we are looking towards specific things, like a specific partner that looks, and like we have a list of like, this is what we want, or like the car that we want, or the house that we want, or the kind of money that we want in our bank account. And yeah, that's amazing. Great if you want to have that clarity. But what's actually most important is how you want to feel. So instead of like, I want this partner with all these qualities, how do you want to feel once you have this relationship? Do you want to feel loved, respected? Why do you want a partner for? Where is the real reason? Is it because you feel alone and unworthy and like you're missing something? If you don't have someone, like you're failing in life because everyone else is married and you're not? Or is it because you are so full of love and so excited to share that with another? What is the real reason why you're creating the things that you're creating? Sit with yourself and really question that, because that's another big part of the manifestation process. Why are you creating what you're creating? And this is actually going to be revealing to you which part of you is actually manifesting. Are you manifesting from your heart and your higher self, or are you manifesting from fear, lack, and the ego? Why do you want that huge house or this super epic car? Is it just because you want to be seen as this like successful person in the outside world? Or is it because you really are calling in this sacred home that you're ready to inhabit for you and your family or whoever? Or this car that is going to like take you to, I don't know, the trips and the travels that you want to experience, or you know what I mean? I don't know if I know. Like these things are important to see the depths of it. Like, why are you wanting to lose weight? Is it because you want to be healthier in your body? Because you want to honor your body? Because you want to treat the body like the sacred temple that it is? When you sit down and you're like, fuck God, thank you. I'm so grateful for you letting me inhabit this precious masterpiece that you created, that is this body, so that I could be here and experience this reality. Are you coming from that place of like, and how can I take care of it? Thank you for this precious gift. Show me how I can take care of it. Give me the insight of like, what are the things I need to do? What are the foods that are best for my body? Because everybody's different. Some people are okay with gluten. Some people are not. Some people are better at being vegan. Some people are not. So learning to listen to yourself and to treat your body like the sacred temple that it is, and to getting to know your body and to getting to give it everything that it needs, like the plants or the car, like giving it the fuel that it needs, and the sun and the movement and the breath and the delicious, nourishing meals, because you love your body. Not because you want to change it, not because you are ashamed of it, not because you're judging how it looks. Maybe change your perspective, like look at your list, go back into everything that you wrote at the beginning of the year. It's a good time to come back and reflect on it. You still have a chance to change it. If you put in there that you want to lose weight, maybe change it for, I want to learn how to fully take care of the sacred temple that I live in. I want to learn how to fully love my body. Instead of, I want to look like a model so that I'm loved by others. It doesn't matter at the end. That's not going to be fulfilling you at the end. It might fulfill you temporarily if you do achieve it, but at the end you're going to continue to feel empty, because the only thing that will fulfill you is the love that you're giving to yourself. Over and over again, that is the only truth. And it becomes redundant at some point in this spiritual community, self-help, everything that you read, all the books, spirituality and self-love and self-help, it always comes back to that, to love. It always comes back to love. Love is the answer, always. It doesn't matter if it sounds cheesy, again, or repetitive or nothing. That's the fucking truth. We are in this planet to learn about love, and we begin with ourselves. So you can measure how much you know about love by measuring and looking at how much you love or judge yourself. And it's not a competition, It's also not like, oh, fuck, I don't love myself, so I'm loving myself less and judging myself more because I'm not there yet. No, it's not about that. It's like sitting with compassion and looking at all the parts of you that you have not loved yet and you can't love yet. And look at them with compassion, and look at yourself with compassion, with the knowing that, okay, I may not love myself that much yet, but at least I have the intention to. And I'm going to do everything in my power to love myself a little bit more every single day. If you can delete everything else, burn all the religious books, get rid of all your spiritual practice, and you have to keep one thing, let that be it. May you wake up every morning and be like, how can I love myself a little bit more today? And trust me, if you do this every single day, and if every day you love yourself a tiny little bit more, that's all you need for your spiritual evolution. That's all you need. Is as simple as that. Because you can sit there, do all the retreats and all the dark room retreats and the plant medicine and the fucking yoga, whatever you want to do, which amazing. I love them all and I do them all. But if you are doing all of that and you're still there judging yourself and hating yourself because you're not there yet, there meaning like whatever that place is, that it's always illusory and always keeps changing and we never can reach it anyways. If you can change that, scratch all the practices and just do this one simple thing for the rest of your life, you will go more far advanced in your spiritual life and your spiritual practice than if you did all of these things without this. If you're doing the yoga and the self-improvement things from a place of judgment, of judging yourself, like, oh, I'm not good enough, so I need to do all of these in order to be more enlightened, more spiritual, blah, 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 you're doing the same thing as if you were not quote-unquote spiritual. There's a lot of delusion right now in the spiritual world. And at the end of the day, it's that simple. It's like, how much can you love yourself? And from there, naturally, you don't even have to think about loving others or nature. You will just naturally love everybody else. Because everything is a reflection of that. Everything is a reflection of the love that you hold in your heart for yourself and for life itself. And from there, everything emanates. You're not going to have to try to love that person that really annoys you at your work, or you're not going to have to try to love like your partner. You just will naturally without trying, because it will come from this place of your full cup. So if you can just focus on that, on loving yourself a little bit more every single day, if you can just make that your life goal, you will live a lot more of a fulfilling life than if you did all the practices and got all the money and did all of the other things. And believe me, even if you had all the success and all of the things and super kundalini activation, if you want to call it in the spiritual, and spoke to the aliens and all of the things, or even if you're not spiritual and you're just like becoming a millionaire and doing all the matrix things, if you died tomorrow, but you were still creating all of that reality, manifesting all of that and living all of that from a place of lack, if I'm not good enough and I have to do this in order to feel more special, more worthy, more successful, you would still die unfulfilled. The only way that we can die fulfilled is, again, with the love that we're cultivating in our hearts. And again, I'm not religious, but I love Yeshua. And that's his message. So if you're a Christian and you're listening to this, or a Catholic, if you're listening to this, like, that's the whole message, right? And I'm none of those, but I think that's the message that I keep hearing in all different traditions all over the world. And that's the only truth. It's that simple. Love. It's everything. So from that place, it spirals out and it creates the reality that we're meant to live, in alignment with the love that we are, in alignment with our purpose on this earth, of what we were created for, to be here on this planet. The universe will provide everything that we need, all the opportunities, even if it's not exactly what we think we need, like the whatever amount of money in the bank account, it will still provide you with everything you need, with the opportunities, with the people, with the food, everything that you need in order to fulfill that purpose. And I truly 100% believe in this. Sometimes we get lost on all the things that we don't have, that we want, but the one that is coming from our head, not from the knowing. And all we need to do is come back to the center, continue to realign ourselves with our inner divine purpose, with our heart, and then life itself will take care of itself. Focus on the love that you are, and life will take care of itself. All right, so I feel like this is the moment to wrap it up. This is my message for you for this new year. I'm sending you so much love. Take such good care for yourself this year to come. I'm wishing you so much beauty and love and prosperity and abundance in your heart. But more than anything, I wish you to love yourself more every single day. All right. Namaste.